Hello class, for my topic in the atmosphere module, I chose to talk about Hurricane Katrina and the effects it had on the United States. Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast of the United States on August 29, 2005 at 6:10 in the morning as a Category 3 hurricane. Before it was a hurricane, it was a tropical storm that started over the Bahamas just 6 days before hitting the United States. The heat from the water caused it to evaporate, leading to the formation of clouds. Under this area was a low pressure system near the water. Air from high pressure systems on the outer edges would come inwards to warm up and become moist air that would rise and act as fuel to the hurricane. Hurricane Katrina actually landed first in Florida, killing 2 people before reverting to a tropical storm, but then it went back over the warm, moist water of the Gulf, creating a Category 5 hurricane. Over 400 miles of land were blasted with 100 to 140 miles per hour winds. Not only were the winds causing damage, but the hurricane also brought intense storm surges, which were up to 9 meters in height. The storm surges and rain eventually devastated the levees that were put in place in New Orleans. Since half of New Orleans is below sea level, it acted as a bowl and flooded the entire area. As far as system interactions go, the other two systems affected were the biosphere and the hydrosphere. The National Weather Service predicted that after the storm hit, most of the Gulf Coast would be uninhabitable for weeks or perhaps even longer, meaning all human populations and land animals were driven out of their ecosystems, and everything was completely thrown off balance. As for the hydrosphere, water gauges were completely destroyed, leaving little record of actual water heights. Several miles up the Mississippi, though, there were record of higher waters due to storm surges. In most areas affected by the storm, the water table became so saturated and resulted in intense flooding. Hurricanes are typical for this time of season, as hurricane season is between June and November in the Atlantic. The United States has seen a multitude of hurricanes, but none as expensive as Hurricane Katrina. There were $81 billion worth of property damage and an estimated $150 billion worth of economic impact in Louisiana and Mississippi. Hurricane Katrina was responsible for approximately 1,833 people's deaths. More than half the victims were the elderly. In New Orleans alone, there were 34,000 people rescued. Over 80% of New Orleans was flooded, leaving behind people with no homes, no jobs, or no support. Evacuations took place one day before the storm made landfall. The mayor of New Orleans and the director of FEMA were criticized for their lack of preparation. Overall, since there was no preparation and the authority failed to recognize the danger of natural disaster, many people lost their life. But overall, society has continued to have a more serious outlook and provide aid to people during hurricanes. Later, the U.S. government then passed the Post-Katrina Emergency Management Act, which offers cities grants to reevaluate their evacuation plans. In New Orleans and in other areas, the Army Corps of Engineers were sent in to create higher levees with steel beams to support them. The beams would go approximately 65 feet below sea level. Hurricane Katrina created devastation in the United States and ultimately helped prepare the government and the people for future hurricanes. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.